What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Autoxin Gaming. Today, we're going over another episode of Fix This Skill. And so we're going to be going over three of the skills from Attack from the Deep that really aren't seeing any competitive play right now and can definitely use some sort of buff to make them, more meta relevant in general. So, like I said before, these skills are all from Attack from the Deep. They're like the, non-field spell skills that, we don't see it often. So, we're going over It's My Lucky Day first, and I think this skill is really cool. I think that, I don't think it saw competitive play, right? And it saw it during the Serpent Night Dragon format using Nightmare Sonic Blast. And what it did is that it changed the die roll for specific cards, die roll or coin toss. So you either got a Regeki or a Twin Twister from your Dice Foon and your Time Wizards, right? And that was really cool back then because then you could clear the Serpent Night Dragon. They had to use so much resource to get it back out. But it was only once per duel. And that becomes the issue, right? That's the reason why nobody's using it. This skill can only be used once per duel. So once per duel, your Dice Foon becomes Twin Twister or your normal summon becomes Regeki or something like that. And nowadays, Time Wizard being Regeki isn't even that, detrimental in the format because, your Time Wizard's going to be... or your Time Wizard's outmatched by the new Volcanic cards. Because the Volcanic Fire card, Quick Play spell, is literally just Dark Hole. And yeah. So, the way that I fix this skill, or feel like it can be fixed, is that what I did was this. When you activate an effect that would make you roll a six-sided dice or flip a coin, you can discard one card to decide the result of one die or coin. This skill can be used up to 3 times, once when your life points are 3,000 or less, once when your life points are 2,000 or less, and once when your life points are 1,000 or less. So you get to discard a card when your life points are under those things, and you can use your skill up to 3 times in one duel. I got inspiration for this skill off of one of the new GX skills, was the I think it's called Cyber Dark Style or something like that. And so I just felt like that would be more of a fair way to make this skill more usable in the current format. You can use it 3 times, it's life point dependent, and you still have to discard for cost for it. I feel like I said, this is just a way to make it to where you're not stuck with a skill that's once per duel. I think once per duel skills become really bad if it's not doing enough, and I feel like this skill did not do enough sitting where it was. Nobody's ever going to play this skill again, right? I don't think we will ever see this skill be played again unless Fairy Box comes to the format or something like that. But yeah. Next on our list is going to be Catch of the Day. This skill is really cool. I like this skill a lot just because it's based around a specific monster, and I think skills like that are really cool. So this card says if you control the legendary Fisherman, you can activate one Umi directly from your deck or graveyard. This skill can only be used once per duel. And then once per turn, when the legendary Fisherman you control destroys opponent's monster by battle or inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon a level 4 lower water monster from your deck or graveyard in defense position. So this skill is just cool and all. It has no real downside to it whatsoever. The only downside becomes the fact that, Umi, or the fact that you're using it around the legendary Fisherman. And Legendary Fisherman is like a 5-star monster that doesn't really do anything, and you have to tribute one to summon it. It becomes a soul exchange deck. It's really not that great. But with this skill here, it just makes it to where, we have the ability to normal summon it now. So it says if you control the legendary Fisherman, you can activate Umi directly from your deck or graveyard. This skill can only be used once per duel. Each turn, the legendary Fisherman you normal summon can be summoned without tributing. Once per turn with the legendary Fisherman you control destroys a monster by battle or inflicts battle damage to your opponent. Special summon a level 4 lower water monster from your deck or graveyard in defense position. Super simple fix. Probably the simplest fix on this list, in my opinion. This is genuinely just, alright, we're just going to give legendary Fisherman the ability to be normal summoned, right? And then it's once per duel you get to get your Umi out. If your opponent outs your Umi, oh well. It just makes it to where Umi becomes more of the targetable card in this deck, and you're literally the only thing that this skill does after that is just you get to summon a legendary Fisherman, an 1850 attack point monster that can monster reborn the Yomi ship. I don't even know if that's really good in this format anymore. But yeah. And lastly on our list is the world's greatest Fisherman. Now, I really like this skill. I think it's really cool. It's just doesn't perform. And I feel like I said, it's the issue with all these skills. It just does not perform in this meta, and especially with the low card pool that we have for it, it just isn't doing what it needs to. It just says once per turn, pay 500 life points and discard one water monster, then add one water monster from your graveyard to your hand with a different name with a level no more than twice the discarded monster's level. So if you discard a level 3 water monster like Yomi Ship, you can only grab a level 6 or lower monster from your graveyard to your hand. If you do that, flip this skill over, oh well, it's still once per turn, 500 life point, discard one. So the way that I fixed this skill was actually kind of an interesting one. Again, it's a simple fix, but it's a fix that makes it meta relevant. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points and discard one water monster, then special summon one water monster from your graveyard with a different name and a level no more than twice the discard monster's level. And if you do, flip this card over. So instead of adding the card to the hand, you're actually special summoning it, which is really cool because it becomes a once per turn recursion effect, right? And then Foolish Burial becomes more of a good card in this deck because what you're doing is you're sending Daedalus to graveyard, and then at that point it's like your discard cost will be water monsters, of course, that are level 4, and because then it's going to be level 8 or lower monsters you can special summon once per turn, and then it's like you can play cards like Bubble Man. What's another level 4 one? Bubble Man is just the immediate one that comes to mind because I think that card's very good. But it's just one of those things where it just makes the deck better, right? It makes the skill definitely way more usable. Like, Daedalus becomes an actual deck in the game with this skill. Now, the 1,000 life point cost and discard one water monster, yeah, it's a lot. And a lot of people are probably going to be looking at this like, man, it seems like it's a little broken. It seems like, you're just going to be able to keep recurring Daedalus once per turn even when you out it. And I understand that. Maybe instead of it being once per turn, it becomes a once per duel effect. That would be fine because you're doing so much with this skill. It just becomes one of those things where I always make these skills with the idea that Moss is in the format and has been so degenerate in the format for the last 3 years. So it's like, if I make these a little broken, it's like it's not going to be better than Moss more than likely. But other than for that though, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this type of content. And yeah, if you like this type of content, make sure you leave a like. Make sure if you have any other ideas for these skills, you leave a comment in the comment section down below. And above all else, wish you all to stay awesome, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.